Hey, Leilani with the Magical Solution here. So I wanted to come on here and talk about a serious subject. So the other day I was having a discussion with a few of my friends in the spiritual community, and one of the things that was brought up was this concept of gatekeeping, but also more so this idea of individuals coming to us to obtain knowledge, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just make that clear. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there is a couple of things that I think people need to understand about spiritual people who have information that you may want, okay? And the very first thing I think people need to understand is that we are not monks that live in a mountain somewhere with all of our basic needs met for us. We are spiritual people living in a material world, in a mundane society where we must provide for ourselves. And so our knowledge, our spiritual knowledge needs to have some boundaries, right? So for example, for me, right? Excuse me, I'm in a park right now and there's children. So for me, for example, if I have obtained knowledge on something that I have worked my blood, sweat, and tears and money on, then you best believe that if you want that information, you're going to pay for it, right? However, if I am on a journey of learning something, if I am still in the middle of learning something and you are curious of my opinion on those things, or you want to learn those things with me, then by all means, let's do it. Let's do it together, free of charge, like no big deal, right? So for me, that's where I draw my line, right? And I can't say that for every other spiritual person. I can't dictate what they can and cannot teach. That's completely up to them, because it is their hard-earned knowledge and wisdom, whether they paid for it through initiation or whether they paid for it through real life, just blood, sweat, tears, and experience, right? Either way, they have every right to say, no, you don't have access to that information unless you pay me, right? Also, there is something to be said by the old phrase, do not waste pearls on pigs. And what that means is, Jesus Christ, someone shut that kid up. Please. Oh my God. Ugh, children. Sorry, it's just one of those things. As a person who gets very overstimulated very quickly with sound, screaming children is just not, it's just not where it's at. But there's something to be said about that phrase, not wasting pearls on pigs. And what that means is, sometimes, actually the majority of the time, some information is just not for you. Let's just keep it a stack. Like, some information just cannot be readily available to the average folk. This is why there is such a thing as occult, esoteric information. This is why there is such a thing as closed practices and initiations. It is because as much as you may desire information, as much as you may, put in the effort to obtain that information, as much as you want to be committed to learning that information, your ability at that time may not be up to par or may not be ready to accept that information. And so therefore it will not be given to you. Concluding whether or not you are quote unquote worthy of that information, that conclusion will be completely assessed by whomever you're asking the information from. That's not for me to decide, but there is a truth to that. There is a truth to that. If you are a person who is trying to obtain information for very fucked up reasons, you want to, take advantage of others, you want to run a scam or whatever, then yeah, the spiritual person whom you are asking that information from, who picks up on that or is able to tell your intentions, yeah, has every right to be like, you're definitely not getting this information from me. Versus even someone who just may not have, the cans to understand, to just mentally comprehend the information, and everything in between. There could be an infinite number of reasons as to why a specific type of information cannot be given to you at any particular point in time. And you need to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You need to be okay with that. And you need to ask, what can I do to work on myself so that I am worthy of this information? Many, many spiritual people will be more than happy to tell you that and what steps to take. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just, there is nothing in this world that is hidden. Let's just be real. Let's just keep it 100%. There's nothing in this world that is hidden, at least not for very long. If you yourself truly, truly want to know the information, you will find it. You will stop at nothing to find it. And because of that pursuit, you will be worthy of it. If you want to take a shortcut and gain that information from someone else who's already put in the work, then yes, you will have to pay for it. Yes, you will have to go through an initiation. Yes, you will have to jump through hoops. Because whether you do it that way or the other way, it's going to be hard work. And the problem, what we're seeing, and this was the discussion I was having with my girlfriends, what we're seeing is that nobody wants to do the work. They just want to take a bunch of classes from people, get the information from those people, and then teach the classes themselves under a different name and under a different guise. And that, my friends, will not fly. Will not fly at all. And those of us who have been in this for a minute will see that and shut you out faster than you realize. So I don't know. That's just my random thought for today. I feel like it was a very serious conversation to have because it's just there's just so much of it happening, and I think we need to really start asking ourselves why. Why do we want this information? Why do we want to pursue this thing? What is in it for us? And what do we intend to do with that information? That's really important as well. What do we intend to do with that information? And if you can't honestly answer those questions with a whole heart, and what I mean by a whole heart is just like not having like narcissistic fucking evil intentions with all of this shit, then maybe this is not for you. That's it. This is how we grow.